12:59 a.m. September 2nd. Close enough.
September 2nd. Hey, that's fine. Some of my games seem to think that I bought them in 1969. No,
Yeah,
no, I'm not kidding about that. It's kind of nuts. Don't worry, guys. We're almost up and running.
Still showing?
Yeah, it's actually switched to 16 by 9. Pretty cool.
Done. Now let's.
You know, the weird thing is that I actually graduated from SEC in film, but I don't know. Well, I'm still currently learning how to use Premiere because I've been using either Avid or Sony Vegas for stuff at home.
Oh.
Let's try an audio test for the actual computer. Someone give me a song. Use audio, but let's just do it anyway. Someone just give me a song, a random song, anything.
Robert Sandstorm.
Sure, whatever.
Do it!
Well, I was gonna say if we're gonna do a
I
song,
cannot
maybe
include
we should just do
because
Howard.
I cannot include this because otherwise we're going to copyright.
I know. It's started to recording. You can cut to as soon as we start.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Dude, the internet again. It's a good thing we set up the PowerPoint in advance.
Does anyone happen to have any of the passwords to
We
guest
have
room,
1
meeting room, or
minute.
lobby?
We have 1 minute. I don't think it's going to matter.
Okay. All right.
Alright.
Ready? Full screen.
Very carefully. Oh yeah, it's view. I think.
Present.
Full screen down the bottom. Almost there.
Does it need to think about it?
No, it shouldn't. Well, okay. Well, I guess while we're getting this up and running, I guess I'll just go ahead and get started. Just a quick disclaimer. We did this panel last year, but I haven't really updated the information in a while, so I'm going to be adding like various things that have changed or improved. So, I'm going to assume that everyone here has probably at least some interest in Let's Plays? Maybe? Either doing them or watching them. How many here are just interested in watching Let's Plays? Alright, how many are interested in doing them? Now it's a party. Alright, no, but, so this is the panel for how to do Let's Plays and how to get them off the ground and get them going at reasonable quality. So, Brandon, can you hit the next one? So, first, wait, didn't we have the introduction slide here?
That was the other one.
Oh. Well, I guess first we'll give ourselves a little introduction. So, my name is Bob, and this here is Brandon. I run, he's the guest, the channel on YouTube called RisingJericho. We're primarily a Let's Play group dedicated to doing anime video games. I set out to do that because no one was doing full, decent quality Let's Plays of like Naruto games and Dragon Ball Z games, like a lot of them. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and do it. And so, so me and Brandon have been trying to do as many as we possibly can. We've done American games, we've done Japanese import games. We've done a lot of stuff. In fact, we're some of the first ones to do a lot of games like Bleach Heat the Soul and other stuff.
That's got a lot of views from what I've looked at yesterday.
Yeah.
Wow, thank you.
We're almost at 1,600 subscribers right now. So
You can monetize.
We've been monetized, but what's up?
You guys all good? All set up?
Yeah, we're good. Yeah, we've actually been monetized for a while, but because of the YouTube apocalypse that's late, we've been not well, we haven't been hit that hard because I don't think they bother to scrub through my videos to see if I swear or not. So it's just like, whatever.
Who gives a shit?
I've only had one video ever said, hey, this might not be viewer content. It was just one thing for Devil May Cry 3 like 4 years ago. I'm like, okay, sure, why not?
I got nailed yesterday for a Game of Thrones song in a Game of Thrones game. Where Joffrey dies. It's like, that part apparently got like, well, I'm not monetizing, so I don't know when the hell you're bothering me.
Yeah, right?
I was doing I was trying to do a Let's Play of the first Kingdom Hearts game. It is copyrighted by the song we were playing together.
Yeah.
Just do fair use, like, hey, this is in the game.
The opening, we're talking about the song in the intro, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That doesn't work out nearly as well as you thought, I've found over the years. What was it you said? Castlevania, one of the games that's completely copyrighted so people can't play it because of the soundtrack?
Yeah, Konami really does not like people posting songs for Symphony of the Night, I've noticed. Or actually a lot of stuff for Lord's Shadow also.
Really?
Okay,
What's a shadow?
Yeah, seriously.
Really?
I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. But yeah, anyway.
They
So
off the deep end.
I didn't rolling it back with the anime series, but anyway. So let's actually get this started. So first, when you're getting into Let's Playing, you generally want to ask yourself a couple questions like, why do you want to do this? I think that's kind of like the big one. Like, are you inspired by someone? Do you want to put out some decent content out there for like a series you love or some other stuff?
Wow,
or
you're paid.
why get that money?
Do you want to share something obscure that you love that you think no one has ever heard of to the world? That's me partially.
I'm getting a sense of deja vu with that statement. All right. Who inspired you to start? Like, for me, a few of my inspirations is like Nintendo Capri Sun, Clement, J642.
Sorry, hold on one second.
SGB likes to play. Wait, what?
I think we might have gotten a code.
Did we get into the? Oh, sick. Oh, sorry. We got into the closed beta for Dragon Ball Fighter Z.
Oh,
I'm gonna be posting that later. Shout out to that game. All right. So, the next thing is like, what do you want to do? I guess that kind of feeds back into the previous question. Like, what kind of games do you want to do? It's very good to have like a target core audience that you can like surround yourself with, and then like branch out. You can do like a jack of all trades at first, but like the people who come to you are going to be very sparse. Like, I can speak from experience. I'm most known for Naruto Let's Plays, much to my detriment. So like whenever I post that, everyone swarms in. Everyone, like 100 views in less than like 3 hours. But I post something for like Dragon Ball Z or like One Piece, or actually One Piece is doing better. And it'll be like 50 after like a week. Like, yeah, that sounds right. What does it mean to you? I'm not sure. I don't remember what that question was exactly. But like, what exactly is it that you want to get out of it? And like, do you do it for a hobby, like just for the fun of it, or do you like want to do it for like money?
Do it for money?
Both?
Got it.
You're gonna be waiting. You're gonna be waiting at least.
Play horror games. You'll get all the money.
You're gonna be waiting at least about 5 years before that actually
Yeah,
turns
I know my friend, he has to really keep up with subscribers.
Unless you do stuff through Twitch, that kind of helps. But anyway. And who is your target audience? I got a previous question. I really had to update the slideshow. Anyway, so next up, this is what you don't want to do. What we have up there is recording via a flip phone, like using a handheld camera. It's a joke. Recording with like the camera on a DSi. I've known at least one person to try to do that. It was woo.
See, I would have at least said the Vita camera.
That's got its own decent camera. You can't argue that. You don't want to like record with like really bad stuff. Unregistered Hypercam 2. Do you guys remember those days? Unregistered Hypercam.
I see some people have places that have, and the hypercam thing is right on the screen, like, okay.
Yeah, look up anything for like 09 or 2010. You're gonna find those everywhere.
Hey man, that Bandai cam costs a lot of money.
And also, like, don't use like the microphones you get through Guitar Hero because, yeah. Well, I mean, this is like we're projecting to the back of a room. We're not projecting into a computer. Unless it's Nico Sammy, I don't know.
I think we've learned over time how to be loud normally, much less in front of a crowd.
Yeah.
I actually have something embarrassing to confess. I remember like 7 or 8 years ago, there was someone who was doing a bridge something or other, and he was saying about how he had to put it on hold for a couple of months because his microphone died and he was having car problems. And I not knowing anything about anything at the time, just like, I've seen you play Guitar Hero before, or SingStar. Why don't you try using a SingStar mic? Those things aren't terrible, I don't think. I was in middle school at the time. So that was fun. I think the guy actually blocked me.
Oh, he blocked you! Oh, okay. That's well, I guess that's not unreasonable reaction, but
That's also a 14-year-old trying to give advice to a 25-year-old.
I mean, I suppose so. All right, so those are general like guidelines of things you don't want to try to get when you're going to get into it. Those are extremely cheap. I get that, but I mean, YouTube's encoder wouldn't like something that's in 4:3 that's like 240p. I just leave it at that. But now I'm going to give you some equipment you kind of want to start with. I'm going to give you like really cheap setups as a base. Then we're going to like get progressively more expensive. All right, go for it. So this is back when I started doing this. I didn't use Windows Movie Maker, but I started with the USB microphone series called Blue. They put out stuff like the Boost Global, Blue Yeti. I'm certain everyone here's, or a lot of people probably heard of the Blue Yeti before. It's like pretty much the YouTuber's go-to
Yeah,
these
it
days.
was in a bad night.
Yeah, I still use it.
USB breaks on it.
It hasn't.
Your system
broken
can't
yet.
recognize it. Damn it.
I might have a tripod at home, and it's still decently good.
I had the USB die on a headset recently. That was a pain in the ass.
Oh no.
Yeah. So this is what like the bottom of like the setup's gonna be. Like this is where you want to start with if you want to have something decent. It's a blue Snowball. I got mine originally for like $30 or so. The Dazzle composite video recorder. There are some things today that will still run it, but like don't try to record a PS4 off composite cables. A, it won't work, and B, I don't want to see what it looks like.
I want to preface this with before you start spending money on this, make sure that you actually are committed to something, or at least test the waters. Start with emulators. Start with something you might already have. If you have a DVD player that can record, or something like that, just start with that first. Just try it for about a month, maybe 2. Make sure that you want to spend the money, because if you end up spending the money, $100, $200, $400, and then you end up not following through with it, that's $400 down the drain.
I just realized that he's speaking from this having to a friend recently. I just realized that. I'm like, oh,
You're
he's
reaching
talking
to the choir on this one.
And thank Christ he's not in the room, because he is here.
Yep, I know. Yeah. No names. No names. All right, next up. So this is you can spend. This is like something. This we got these numbers like a year ago. You could probably find these for even cheaper. I've known Nintendo Capri Sun to use that top thing there, TOTMC USB 2.0 video capture adapter. I have no idea what those words mean. They're like so mid 2000s. Next up, you got like a wireless Bluetooth headset for PS3. That's what I started with back in the day because I got a PS3 and it came with that. So I'm like, all right, let's see what it works.
That was 2012, yeah?
Yeah, something like that. And then like Windows Movie Maker, as really any editing software should work so long as it can like handle these like footage. Yep.
Windows Movie Maker?
Well,
again, we're going for the
I tried
basic.
using
Yeah.
it, but
bottom. Well, this is also before Windows. What was it? Windows 8 screwed it up.
One thing to say though, if you do end up starting with that, I don't believe you can find Windows Movie Maker as its own program anymore. I think it's part of a suite now called Windows Essential, which is still free, but it's under a different name now. So you have to download the whole suite of the single program.
I know my girlfriend a couple years ago had to make something that she used Windows Movie Maker. I'm like, oh no.
like, I don't know how to use this anymore.
Oh, she
Where's
actually.
the cut button?
My girlfriend is. She actually asked me the question, wouldn't you be able to theoretically cut a feature-length movie through Windows Movie Maker? I'm like, maybe? It's going to die on you a lot, but...
If all you have is the direct footage and no effects or no editing, if you just want to go straight cut, sure.
No, even then, it's going to start crashing on you after 10 minutes of footage.
Yeah.
True story. All right, next up. This is generally what you want to actually go for. This is like middle of the road stuff. This is what I'm still doing. I need to upgrade at some point, but this is like generally what you want to go for. The Elgato Game Capture HD.
I have that one.
Yeah, this is like what?
This is
I got the new version though.
realistically, this is the actual baseline you want to go for at a minimum is the standard Elgato HD, and even then, that's basically already been phased out for the HD60. The difference is in price is about $60, give or take. This goes for $75 to $100 now, I believe.
Yeah, it works good on the old devices.
It still works on great stuff, and this is something important too. You do want to get one of these if you're recording anything pre-HDMI. If you're recording if you're recording the Wii, I guess go through the Wii U. But if you're recording GameCube, especially go through the Wii anyways, because you can get component cables through that. If you're recording a PS2 or an N64 or something, you will need this model of Elgato.
Yeah, but just to clarify, the Game Capture actually allows you to record a composite component, I believe S-Video, I think, and actually
adapter.
It does, but you can still do it, so that's pretty good.
Yeah.
The Blue Yeti, this, I love and hate this thing. Because it will give you decent quality for what you're paying for. The problem is it has no shock absorber. So like anytime it's on my tripod at home, if you tap it, dink, it's gonna sound like that was a lot louder than I expected it to be. I'm sorry. It's sound like that. And then for like editing software, once you upgrade from Windows Movie Maker, it would be like Sony Vegas. I've been using Vegas for a couple years now. It's a really reliable program. There's a few key features missing from it. that would be present in like actual professional editing software, but it's still really good. Like you can output some pretty decent quality footage with that.
Another thing to note is that there were like 15 different versions of Sony Vegas that can range in price anywhere from $1 to about $400 and then some.
It also happens to be one of the easiest programs to pirate. So,
well, I mean, if you're going to go that route.
We're gonna go that
shout out to
route.
piracy.
We're gonna go that route. Let's go with Adobe.
Yeah, I mean, but that's a little more complicated. That like, there's so many cracks for Vegas. Now, I'm not endorsing pirating the software, but I'm also saying $800 is a bit steep for something that isn't that capable of really good stuff. Like it only just got the ability to process 4K. Anywho, next time. So this is where we go. Brad, your shoulder's kind of like in the projector right now. All right, there we go. This is where you go above and beyond if you have a budget and you're settled in, you know what you're doing, and you want to start upgrading your stuff incrementally. Versus Adobe Premiere, I did mention, yeah, you can pirate it, but like if you want to actually get the paid subscription, that's a little more intricate. You got soundproofing, like putting foam on your walls. That could be expensive, but like you can pretty much put like anything on your walls, like blankets, anything that absorbs sound, so it doesn't bounce off your walls. Especially if you live on like a concrete roof. I'm so sorry. All right, and then I know what that is.
That is the Elgato HD60 Pro. That does 1080 60, but it goes up to 60 megabytes a second.
And it's also been just replaced.
It has?
It's got a 4K model now.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's
All right then.
Good luck.
The thing with that one is that it's basically an integrated graphics card. It can record consoles, but you insert that straight to the PCIe slot of your computer.
Yeah.
By the way, while we're going through this, if anyone has any questions about the technology here, you can feel free to ask about them.
Isn't the Audio Technica an XLR?
Yes, it is.
Yes, it's not that hard to be able to get XLR support through your stuff.
Yeah, but don't you also need to buy a box that is capable of XLR?
You have to get I use a USB 2-port XLR. What's it called?
You don't need
He's
to go
got the
that way.
Behringer. I have a Altisa or something like that.
Yeah. You in the back. You got a question?
So I do more like streaming and stuff, but like is open broadcast still like a good?
Yes.
Yes.
Very much so. Take my word for it. Don't use exploit. Don't use exploit. A, because I've actually known people to have their accounts actually hacked because there was a huge information leak a couple years ago. There's a streamer called Vine Sauce, and there's a guy that streams to them named Joel. Yeah. Last year, his account got compromised, and like the YouTube channel was pretty much owned by some random dude that was just, to put it lightly, he was just shitposting. It was terrible. Is anyone here offended by swearing by any chance?
Yeah, I'm
Fan of what?
Vine Sauce fan.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I thought you were offended by swearing.
No.
Okay. Oh yeah, shout out to Joel, dude. All right, and yeah, but like OBS, I highly recommend that. It's a little more intricate to learn, but you get all the features of that for free that you would get for an exploit that you had to pay for.
I have OBS, but I'm still learning it. I'm like, how do I do this? OBS, I'm completely
There's plenty of videos on YouTube on that. It's really good.
Well, the thing is that it also went through an upgrade from a standard program to a studio or suite or whatever it is, and they changed a lot of how it functions. I don't know how it works anymore.
Not terribly. The core idea is still there, but it just means that you can see more stuff.
Yeah.
It's great for emulators.
Pretty much like what the things you want to keep out for or look out for is just like what the screen is, what audio is going in, and what bit rate you're recording at. And then once you're done with that, make sure you're outputting to the right place, and you're pretty much good.
Yeah, that's not really genitals.
Any idea how I can use OBS directly from my PS4 without upgrading to Windows 8 or 10 for the remote play app?
Did you say upgrading from Windows 8 or 10?
Upgrading to.
Oh,
okay. See, I know what he's talking about. You can remote play the PS4 to your PC.
Yeah.
I do not recommend that for one because it caps your resolution at 720p. It can go up to 60 FPS. The thing is, I think it relies primarily on Wi-Fi. I'm not sure that you can Ethernet it. You might be able to, but it's trying to stream a game directly to your computer through your Wi-Fi. So it'll work, but you're going to get a lot of lag.
Yeah.
Yeah, not really.
So you can do it, but I wouldn't recommend it.
All right.
Just get
Yes,
it
sir.
out and run it through it.
I have a question about
capturing.
Yeah.
My editing software I use on my computer, it has like a screen capture function for like anything, and I was wondering if perhaps I could put like an HDTV, like you just serve as the monitor for the computer, and then hook a console up to the TV, and then capture that. Would that work?
This guy does it.
Built-in screen recorders for through editing programs. I've never used them. I probably wouldn't recommend it because I mean, like all the bells and whistles are just right through OBS.
You also have to like jump through like several screens just to get through things. That's what we currently do. He has his TV and computer marked into one.
Oh.
And it's like he has to flip through channels, so it's not hard, but it's just it's such a hassle to try and jump through, and you have to make sure everything works.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, like one monitor setups. So the tricky part about that is the Elgato has a built-in 3-second input delay. So if you're trying to do a single screen recording for the setup, it might be a little tricky.
You can get the S that actually now does straight live.
Yeah,
there's no delay
that
anymore.
thing up there is direct, so it could be doable. But
the original Elgato and the original HD60 have the delay. The HD60S, which is I believe $20 more, but it records through USB-C instead of USB 2.0, has a zero delay, so you can play directly off the capture.
That's doable. Also, as of like you can record console games through OBS. Like that's actually one of the cool things about it. All right, next up. So these are the general things you want to do before you actually record your game. First off, definitely do an audio check of your microphone. Like Brad, you might have seen the recent Dissidia footage you've been posting. There was actually a fan right on the microphone, and I had to do some I could scrub out a little bit of it, but I couldn't do it perfectly because it's just like sometimes. Like make sure there's no like fans that are like ridiculously loud on your microphone because it will affect it. Make sure there's no echo from the game. Like don't have your TV up too loud because otherwise it'll be an echo. And you can't get rid of the echo, but boy is that going to be a nightmare. You also want to be a certain distance away from your TV. If you're within 2 feet of it, even if it's on low volume, it will pick it up. It's ye olden days, we expect speaking from experience here.
Yeah, I have a question on that. So you say like 2 feet is fine, even if you have low volume?
No, I'm saying you want to realistically, if you have the space, you want to stay about as far away as possible. You want to stay at least about 3 to 5 feet at a minimum from your TV. If you have the room, it's a bit tougher if you're recording out of a bedroom, but if you have like a living room or like a separate game room, if you can get 6 to 10 feet away, try to do that.
Okay,
if you're doing
that's
like
one thing we have such a big hassle on.
Yeah,
it's just not the it's the space.
If you're doing it through a headset, it doesn't really matter. But, like if you're on a computer, but like just be wary of any echo your TV is getting off. Make sure your controllers are fully charged. I know this is sort of a moot point considering the age we live in with taking just like a PS4 controller and plugging it right into a PS4. But like if you're trying to record like a Wii game, once those batteries die,
it's actually less of a moot point than you think because while last generation some controller batteries were like 40 hours, most of the controllers this generation only last about 5 hours, and your controllers can go dead if you're doing extended sessions. Yeah, just again, it's sort of a lesser point, but just be wary of it. Definitely get comfortable. Like, don't do anything. Don't sit in a weird position. Don't make sure your legs are going to go numb. Discomfort, we find is generally reflected on your voice more than you might expect. You start to get annoyed. You sound weird. Just like make sure you're in a good seat. You have a comfortable viewing distance for your TV, and you should be all right. Know what you want to talk about in advance, because you can go into a game blind, but it's depending on the game. It could be something odd. I've dragged you into so many blind games.
You take me into blind. Well, I'm comfortable with that because I know you know what you're talking about. And this is a big one. Check your hard drive space before you're recording.
This is a definite. You would be surprised how quickly your hard drive can go empty. I've gone from 40 gigabytes to blank in under 2 hours before.
We've had to play with his laptop before with 20 gigabytes, so we knew exactly what we're running with.
That was also at the time where I was trying to do things with wraps.
Yeah,
That was fun.
Oh man, does anyone remember Fraps? How uncompressed that was?
The beautiful thing about that is that if you don't know what you're doing with the settings on that the first couple of times, it will try to go for 75 megabytes a second.
What was the highest you went with that? I remember it was
75 megabytes a second and 15 minutes of footage drained 28 gigabytes in about 10 minutes. It actually set my computer to no data, so it actually crashed and had to reboot the computer.
Oh no.
I wasn't doing anything important at the time. At the time, I was mostly just running tests. But it's just, you want to be aware of that. Especially the thing is, you want to be recording to an external drive, a USB 3 or a USB-C.
He wasn't even recording 4K. I love it. and a final bit of personal advice for me. If you're recording to Audacity and recording your footage separately, do a sync point. Like, I was just talking with this dude in the front. What you want to do is you want to find something on the monitor or in the game that takes like one frame, and then say you're doing this now. Like, do it. So that way you don't have to like scrub the audio and the video separately to find exactly where you can kill the echo. Because that is...
You want to get into a reference?
I want to die. What?
You want to get into a reference like how we do it on the PS4?
Yeah, so like what we would do is go into menus and like select text, and then find the exact sync point for the text. So that, it definitely helps a great deal in the long run, because you can record through OBS or some other programs, like you can have your voice caked in. You can totally do that. The problem is if you want to edit that later and like raise your volume or lower your volume, you can't do that.
It's also a lot harder to get rid of distortion that's synced directly into the video.
Yeah, basically. If there's any audio problems, it's a nightmare to kill.
Mm-hmm.
Again, speaking of experience with this one. Well, not really, but we do have a friend. That same friend, yeah, he didn't like to do that.
Oh God.
All right, so you got your tech. You're all prepared for this game. You're gonna be rocking and rolling on. All right, what now? So, stage fright's slightly different with doing Let's Plays. So, like, you might feel like you're talking to, like, I don't know. It depends. It varies from person to person. You might be worried because you feel like you're talking to thousands of people all at the same time, and you might feel like you're talking to no one because there's no one in the room.
Yeah.
So, like, the first couple times you do it, it's generally good to bring a friend while you're doing a Let's Play, because then it's not awkward. You don't have to worry about like who you're talking to or sounding great. You can just
make conversation.
Shoot the shit with your friend. Just be like, yeah, this game is great, dude. Yeah, it's so cool and all that good stuff. Yeah. Also, even if you're good at it, having a friend along is going to make it a lot more fun in general. Don't be stressed out. In general. If something happens that in the game, like there's a technological problem, you're getting destroyed by a boss over and over again, don't worry. A, you can edit that out later. And B, if you let it get to you, you're going to feel frustrated and you're not going to want to keep going.
Don't take existing stress into a session. If you're stressed, if you're dealing with a lot of bullshit, don't record. Even if you have a schedule to maintain, just put it off. People will generally understand.
Yeah.
Don't go into a session the day after you got back from the hospital or something.
Or if you do, leave that at the door. You're here to have fun. This is not like, this isn't real life. It's weird that it's to say. Have drinks and beverages, okay. Water. Snacks and beverages are great if you're doing bulk recording. Because you're going to have, if you go for like 2 or 3 hours and you have no food and you have no drinks, it's going to be miserable. But like, if you have them on hand, it's going to help you greatly. It makes you more comfortable, like we said earlier, but it's also just good to do in general.
This is a no shit, but make sure you're eating something that doesn't make sound. Don't eat chips while you're recording. They stick in your teeth, they stick in your throat. The microphone is going to hear that just while you're talking. Even if you can't even feel that chips or something are still in your teeth, the microphone will hear it.
Yeah, and like, this is more for like actual sound, like professional like voice recording advice. But like,
hold up a sec. That reminds me. I don't think I ever told you this, but a couple of years back, we were doing one of the podcasts. I was eating pasta during that. I was eating my dinner while we were recording that podcast.
Okay, I've known you've eaten like chewed ice on the microphone before, and I've heard it.
Well, that's just when we're talking, when we're doing Discord chat, not when we're recording. I'm not that dumb.
I think you might have done it once before, but I can't prove that. All right. when you're doing your recording, have cutoff points planned in advance. Like, me and him, we generally do bulk recording. We go like 2 or 3 hours per session because like we don't hang out a lot. So we generally try to get a lot of material done in advance, and it's just fun in general because it's like we're just playing a game regularly.
Yeah.
But don't go like 7 or 8 hours and you don't realize it, because at that point you're going to be exhausted, mentally you're fried. So the stuff you're talking about, if you have speech impediments like I do, it'll be more noticeable. You'll start stuttering a lot more. You won't have much to talk about. If you're going to be doing that, at least like take breaks. Like just get up, walk around.
That's a must. Get lunch in between. Do something else in between. Take an hour off. A lot of the time we do like 3 to 5, sometimes 6-hour sessions in a day. But we take 2, 3, 4 breaks in between. You cannot go for more than 3 hours at a stretch. We know this from experience. Your lungs and your throat especially will start to die after about 2.5 to 3 hours.
Fun fact: the longest we've ever recorded all at the same time is 6.5 hours.
Hold on.
What were you doing?
So host out of curiosity.
Oh God.
Yeah.
It's a fun game, but the problem is we tried to do that all at once. We did both routes of that game. The first time we did it all at once. The second time we broke it into 3 sessions, I think. If we're being technical, the PSP stream, that was your idea. We went for like 9 hours on it. We took like 4 or 5 breaks. We went for 9 hours that day.
We did take quite a bit of breaks, but that was pretty much just a day of just like messing around.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, basically. And the last one is, of course, it feeds back to what we said earlier, but make sure there's no like hardware sound issues. Because nothing hurts more than when you get done recording and either A, your sound doesn't exist, or B, you ran out of hard drive and space and you didn't realize it. That stings.
This is another thing this goes back into do all of your checks and do all your checks and do them multiple times. There was a time with a friend where the first time we were trying to record some GBA stuff, and we were doing emulator stuff, and we found out apparently that VBA actually has an internal recorder that you can use. We didn't do a check beforehand, and after about an hour, we looked at the video, and I don't know how it happened, but the colors were inverted and the video was upside down. I don't know how. We didn't do anything to settings or anything. It's just it was upside down and the colors were inverted. What was supposed to be green was red, etc. Even if I don't think even through editing you could fix that. Could you fix?
If it's the shock color effect, yes.
It's an entire hour video that is inverted and upside down.
The inverted color is technically what's called in film a negative, and you can flip a negative into regular colors. But that's why we're using Visual Point Advance as recording. I'm sad. Okay, so you've done your recording session, you had fun with your friend, we had snacks, it was a great time and all. What now? Okay, so after recording, label everything, and this is important, label everything in an organized manner and make sure you know where it is. And this is important, guys. I'm actually very serious about this one. Make sure your files are, wait, what was that one? Make sure you have files.
Make sure you have.
Oh yeah, make sure you actually have your files after recording.
Make sure everything is present and accounted for.
Yeah. Be sure to actually hit the stop recording button. Sometimes I've gotten up, taken a stretch, walked away, walked back, still recording. Oh. Well, it's just 5 minutes of dead silence, but it's like, yeah, no, I'm serious. You do want to make sure you actually hit stop recording on your computer.
And if you are worried about your hard drive, even depending on what settings you're recording at, that can still do a number on your hard drive space, even just 5, 20 minutes, half an hour of extra dead audio.
Yeah, and definitely, if you're going to keep recording, if you're on your break, just give yourself like a 5-minute breather. Walk around, just walking around and just like taking 5 is always going to help you if you're doing a lot of stuff. So you're not just staring at a screen continuously. All right, so now for the editing part. As I graduated from Scottsdale Community College in film editing, so this is always the most fun part for me. Now, going back to a previous point, you label your files. You know where they are. You have like 5 audio recordings. And you know which one is yours, right? Okay. This is actually, it is very important, guys. I'm dead serious. Audio sync. If you did an audio sync during the video, just scrub through your video, scrub through your audio, find where it is, and just like slide them so they overlap each other. Doesn't have to be perfect. If the TV is loud, yeah, you have to be perfect. It's killer. Yeah, if you have a sync point, this will help you greatly in the long run. So you can just avoid. It's just good form in general.
There's a question to be made about if your audio gets screwed up, but you still have your video. Do you go back and re-record or the video and the whole segment do it again, or do you do post commentary? There is something to be said for that. Post commentary is a very different experience from live commentary, especially if when you were recording the video, you were trying to show off or do something specific. You might not remember what your mentality was at the time. If you're going to do that, you need to be prepared for it, and you need to know how to work around that, because it's more difficult than you might think, like your first couple of times.
Yeah, post-commentary is a much different beast than live commentary, because
we've tried that a couple of times. It didn't end up working out very well.
It's always awkward. No, thank you. Video quality. So, just basic editing stuff. Try to keep your project specs matching what you record your video at. Like if it's 720p, excuse me, 8 megabytes per second, keep it at that. Because when you start taking 480p footage, bumping it to 1080p, that's when the degradation is going to become very noticeable. Oh god, it still pains me. The Let's Play I'm most known for, Naruto Class Ninja, back in the day. I was using Pinnacle Studio, a much older editing software. It was 480i, and I exported it at like 720p.
Oh no.
The interlacing was disastrous, and it still pains me to this day. It's my most watched Let's Play. I'm like, God.
Like, this is how you don't do it.
How do 20,000 people sit through this?
That's the people who watch Uno.
Well, I mean, and when you're exporting, editing in bulk, don't focus too much on special effects. Like, especially if you know it's gonna be like a continuous, just like Let's Play, especially like a longer one. Don't go crazy, because like a lot of people are just there for the game and you. They're not like watching special effects in the background. If you do a montage, yeah, sure, go for it. But like, don't let yourself get carried away with the effects if you're just doing a raw Let's Play.
You'll turn a 5-hour editing session into a 15-hour editing session in no time.
Mm-hmm. I go like 10 minutes, 15 minutes into 5 hours. Yeah, you can go crazy with it. So this is more philosophy, I feel. Don't take this from me. You're free to do whatever you want. But these are general guidelines I feel that you should follow if you want to if you're uploading to YouTube and you want to grab people's attention. Don't be this guy right here. I know it's hard to see, but try not to do anything overly clickbaity.
Don't just throw random characters or things almost completely unrelated. What your best bet is going to be is take a screenshot from your recording, something that looks cool, something that looks nice, maybe a character center frame or something. Throw something maybe on that, but you want it to be at least directly related to the game you're recording.
Yeah, you don't go overly nuts, because if you go clickbaity, yeah, you might get more views, but the thing about that is you're going to drive a wedge between yourself and your audience, essentially, depending on what you're doing. It's not... Later on, I mean, you could get creative with it, but don't overly rely on it. It's a general mindset that people try to follow.
You're going to trip people away with that. And on that note, actually, something from earlier, this is a person-by-person thing, especially with what your system will allow, but there are a lot of very petty people out there who at this point in time refuse to watch anything that is less than 60 FPS. So those people probably aren't worth your time, but you are going to turn some people away by going for lower quality and going for a lower frame rate. There are people like that. I've known people to do that.
Well, screw them. I mean, who cares?
What matters is the content, but if you're just worried about getting the highest numbers possible, that is something to think about. I don't care, and I don't think I ever will, but there's something to be said about that.
I guess.
Well, this is at 59 frames per second?
Yeah. Or you live in Europe and you export at 50 frames per second.
I'm just amazed sometimes seeing that as an option on video, 720p, 50 frames.
Yep. And when you go into your description and your title, try to keep them clean, concise. You could flood your description box with social links to follow me on Instagram and Twitter, and also on my SoundCloud. Once you get to 10 links, it might be time to roll back, but it's unless you have the size of the audience for that. But just try to keep everything concise, because you're not going to be posting to 10 different social media websites at any given time.
Know what you're doing in uploading in the final stages. I've seen a lot of people that don't know what tags are or how they work or where to put them in. So I've seen people that have put a mountain of tags yay long in the description and not in the tags.
I love that's yeah. I remember those old days. I can't believe people did that.
Some people still do that.
Yay!
What's funny is they actually bothered to put hashtag in there.
Yeah, and this is just the last one, but try not to put like implied NSFW stuff in your thumbnail because people are going to click on, they're going to search for whatever it was, and then they're going to leave. Just don't rely on putting boobs in your thumbnails. Don't do it. Every once in a while, maybe, but like, no. Alright, and this is just more advanced device. Since I've been doing this for like 4 years now, actually 5 years almost, now I think about it, my god.
You were doing it before a year before I came on.
Yeah. This is just more advanced advice from me. Try to maintain a regular upload schedule. Like, if you can, it doesn't have to be like on the dot, but YouTube does have a scheduled upload feature. You can try to keep it around like maybe like 2 or 4 p.m. like depending on like where your audience is, and try to keep it around there. Take it from me, if you post something at 11 p.m. at night or like 1 a.m., which I've done before because I used to work really late shifts. No one's gonna watch it, and no one's gonna know it was out there because YouTube sub box is terrible.
But the other thing is YouTube is international, so you do have people in other countries that are like 10, 16 hours ahead of us. They might be going for their specific audience.
You do, but you can check your demographic and see where the majority of your people actually live.
It's also a matter of if you're looking at East Coast versus West Coast. If you're on the East Coast, you upload something at like 6 p.m. We're going to get it at 3 p.m. If someone's working, during the day, they're not going to see it immediately, and there's a solid chance that depending on how flooded their YouTube subscriptions are, they might not see that video at all. So timing is key.
Yeah, I know that's what I'm talking about when YouTube sub box was messed all the way up. Yes.
A good recommendation out here is that uploading at like 12 p.m. is a good time because it's in the middle and sometimes 3 hours ahead or 3 hours before for other people, so it's in the good between. So.
Yeah, I can get down with that. That's actually a pretty good advice.
Try that.
What they said was trying to upload at like noon would be good because East Coast is 3 hours ahead of us. So like they'll probably get it first, like when they're out of work or something, or at school or something like that.
And
then like
changes the 4 o'clock art.
Yeah, so it's pretty good.
I agree
with that.
Don't go for the early morning, frankly, on either coast because either people are asleep and they're not going to see it, or they're on their way to work and they're not going to see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I currently do like 4 o'clock every day.
That's good. Yeah.
Don't upload it at 8:30 in the morning.
Yeah. Next up, your first recording is more likely to be terrible. Either you sound nervous or something went wrong during recording, you have a fan on, video quality didn't quite turn out right. Don't let that dissuade you. Every recording session you do after that point will be much easier, and you'll also be more comfortable. So if you do it the first time, you're like, oh man, it was terrible. Don't worry about it. It's mostly, if you're doing it for fun, or is it like a learning experience, you're gonna do good. Don't worry. It does get easier after every recording. You can choose to do segments, like my buddy Liam, who lives in Canada. What we record over what you used to record over Skype. Man, remember when Skype was relevant. If you can have cutoff points for your videos, so it's easier on editing later. But the thing is, there's more editing that has to be done, and it also takes more time to like cut off and then keep going. So like the choice between doing like a 2-hour recording session and then chopping it up is up to you, or like record, stop, record, stop, record, stop. That just like then you just end up like a trillion files that are just like, how do I do this?
There are some people that have the free time to actually say, I'm going to record 20-30 minutes today, edit, upload that. I'm going to record 20-30 minutes tomorrow, edit, upload that, etc., etc.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that, but then you have a million like files you have to sort through when you're actually sorting your footage.
That's true, but that also takes up a deceptively larger amount of your time than you might think than if you just set aside 1 or 2 days a week to do your editing.
Yeah, this is why I record on off days. It's generally a good advice. And always keep your hardware up to date. Make sure everything is on the up and up. Like you have the right hard drive space. CPU usage during recording is right. Your fan noises are fine. Yeah, general stuff.
If your computer is acting the fuck up, turn off your Wi-Fi or your internet on your computer because thing like system or interrupts or what was it that kept...
Yeah, system interrupts. It's because like Windows 8, when your Wi-Fi is on, it keeps trying to look for updates. And I'm like, no, you stop that.
It'll bring up your CPU usage from 60 to 90 in no time flat.
Yeah, and you can pretty much this is a cheap thing for me. You don't have to, Photoshop in order to make thumbnails. You don't. Like, Sony Vegas, I use that to make my thumbnails all the time. It's literally just get a screenshot, take it in, logo, font, you're done. You don't have to go crazy with the special effects. You can, but like a starting point, you don't need to worry about that. And for closing thoughts, so Let's Plays should be fun. They should be. If you're doing it for a business or busy work, you're gonna sound boring. You're gonna be bored with it, and your audience is not gonna be interested.
It's gonna be very root by the numbers.
Yeah, it's gonna be very rudimentary. Just like try to enjoy the process. It's really is an art form. Like, yeah. Don't take any of these workflows as absolutely concrete and set in stone. Have fun. Like, just mix it up. Some people are going to be using like Adobe Premiere. Some are going to be using Vegas, Movie Maker, or the heck of different equipment. OBS streamers uploading to YouTube, etc., or like Twitch streamers uploading to YouTube. Yeah, just like mix and match your workflows as like whatever you want. What we've been posting is generally my preferred workflow, but you don't have to be. You have to keep it concrete. Oh yeah, this is a good one. You're gonna have people who don't like your content. It's gonna be inevitable. They're gonna be like, "Man, I hate your voice," or be like, "You expect people to watch this?" I've had that happen a lot of times, believe me.
I'm sorry. I apologize for that.
I actually have been meaning to make a video about this. Having people like that is actually a good thing. I know, like, don't take this at face value, but like the fact that you have people seeing your stuff that don't like you actually means your content's reaching more people. That's actually a good thing. And don't be a dick when you're responding to them. But
be friendly to your audience, but beyond that, actually make friends with your audience. There are a lot of people in our audience that we actually are friends with that we talk to either every day or every couple of days on Discord. Keep yourself open to your community. Do not shut yourself off. That will kill you.
It won't kill you, but there'll be a huge disconnect from yourself and your audience, and you generally don't want that. You want to listen to feedback.
Don't think yourself above the audience.
Never do that. Never do that.
Don't be a spooner.
And don't be encroaching on our territory. Naruto and Dragon Ball Z Let's Plays, we own that. No, I'm just kidding. Go for it. I don't care. And yep. So, we moved that down there apparently. Anyway, so this is us. My YouTube channel is youtube.com/RisingJericho. I generally try to post daily on weekdays with either like anime-related stuff or things I'm experimenting with. Brandon here uploads. You upload things like that camera right there. He records like almost every panel that we go to at Saboten and Comic-Con.
Every convention I go to, I upload all of the voice actor panels. So if you need a resource for that, I'm your guy.
Yep. And we can change this to
4. No, 5. 4 or 5.
4. There we go.
That's another thing to be said for it. If you ever feel really embarrassed or want to commit suicide looking at some of your older stuff, it is very easy and often actually preferable to go back and redo some of your old stuff. We went back 2 years ago and we redid the first thing we ever did, and thank Christ we did, because the first thing we ever did was hot garbage.
Oh. Yeah. It was Bleach Soul Resurrection back in the day.
God.
See, the funny thing about that is, to go for your reaction to it, is I actually think higher of the game now than I did back then.
Oh no, it was a great game. It's just like, it's one of the few Bleach games that I actually liked.
It's one of the few games that actually came to America too.
You're one in a million. But the thing is, go back if you want to. Go back and redo your old stuff. You might have a new perspective. You might have a new take. You're gonna be a better. It's a long term, but you're gonna be a better public speaker.
Yeah,
you're going to be able to better convey your thoughts about the game in question.
So, want to review?
Yeah, like right now.
We actually tried a funny story on that one, because you say go back and do that. That was one of our first videos we uploaded, was Dot Hack and Sword Art.
Wait, what, the one on the Vita?
The one that got moved over to the. Wait, did you talk about for Dot Hack, or you talking about
Sword Online?
It was the re-release on the PlayStation 4.
I've been meaning to actually get around to Let's Playing the original one on the Vita, because I'm a sick human being.
Yeah, so mine.
Yeah. Alright, so since we have 13 minutes left, we're going to open the floor to any and all questions. Go.
What do you guys think about some of the more gimmicky approaches, I guess you could say, to your channel? So doing like maybe once a week drunk streams or scary Fridays or something like that.
That's fine. It's not quite a traditional format for a Let's Play, but it's definitely very entertaining. Recording drunk is always interesting.
There's a place for
They
that.
have these days.
There's a place for that, but you want to make that an occasional thing. You don't want to make that every week or multiple times a week. If you're doing drunk multiple times a week with how much you will end up having to drink, you'll destroy yourself. I'd say do that a couple of times a month, maybe, if that, but don't make that an absolute regular.
Yeah, like on my channel, I do sidetrack a lot with like various gameplay of like just stuff that doesn't have a story mode, like fighting games or something like that. Like the recent thing for the City of Final Fantasy, me and Brian did a beta for that, and it was pretty fun. So yeah, there's nothing wrong with like deviating for every once in a while. All right, anything else?
You, the redhead. You.
I'm not used to that hair yet. How do you, I'm sorry we talked about this earlier, but what's the recommendations for intros and end cards?
I would highly recommend, if you're going to do an intro, don't do anything above like 5 seconds. Generally speaking, because otherwise then your audience is going to have to sit through like a 15-20 second intro every time they open a video for
Hold on a second. Are you talking about saying, hi, my name is Group and this is this game, or are you talking about like an animated intro with a bunch of clips and music, or like a montage or something?
Whichever, really.
Don't do a montage. Don't. If you're talking about doing a talking bit or doing an intro joke, you can do that if you'd like. We do that from time to time. Just keep it sensible, and for one thing, do not have it go over 30 seconds to a minute.
End cards are good. I would recommend end cards. I don't do it because, again, bulk recording and like it'd be a pain to like chop stuff in, but like you can do it.
And you had a question?
Yeah. How many games should you like start Let's Playing? Like, should you do 3 games at once and upload them, or like 5 games and then upload them all?
Take it slow. To start with, only do 1 or 2 at a time. I'd say only do one or 2 to start. Once you get a workflow down, once you know that you can keep it consistent, try to go for more if you can. The thing is, don't flood all of your stuff at once. Don't have like 3, 4, 5 different games going at once, because if people weren't watching all of your stuff before, they're not going to be watching any of it now.
Also, it's a dangerous thing with YouTube, because if you start dividing your attention amongst a lot of games, the less you're going to have to talk about an individual game. Yes.
Yeah, I'd like to add on to that. I did that before. I burnt down in like about 2 months in. I'm like, forget it. I'm done editing. Leave.
Like, I have a huge list of things I'd like to do and I have on pause, but like I'm focusing on 2 or 3 things at a time only.
Yeah, we started doing that because I have a breakdown of a 3-man team. Mm-hmm. Me and him and our friend who's currently at a VA panel.
Yep.
They do Telltale games, and we're doing .hack right now.
Cool. And
we're going to eventually get over to GU by November 3rd.
Just to make a correction to that, we do Telltale games we haven't played yet, so we have genuine reactions.
Well, one of them has a reaction, and he's biting his tongue so hard to not spoil it for you.
Yes, you over there.
Specifically on the Let's Plays, do you guys find that, because obviously you're going to have, who you are, then you're going to have your YouTube persona that's going to be a little bit more exaggerated, charismatic, yada.
Yeah.
So for Let's Plays specifically, do you go for genuine reactions, blind playthroughs, or do you try to, say, read a walkthrough beforehand and then at least know where you're going or something?
That's an actually interesting question, because I find that sometimes my reactions, like personally, are a lot less exaggerated than like what I do like on camera. But like, there's still me right now. This is me when I'm like usually am a little high strung. Like this is like I usually am like this because college and doing this has made me like actually pretty expressive. But
he's kind of insane.
I am kind of nuts sometimes. But yeah, no. You can, just like have fun with when you're doing your recordings. Like, there's nothing wrong with exaggerating a little bit. Don't feel like you have to like RP a character that you came up with or something, because that's going to be weird. I don't have any personal advice on that, but like I can see it would probably be weird to like juggle like when you're doing this and when you're doing this.
If you're going in with other people, know the people you're with too. Know how you think that they're going to react to some things. Because one thing I do, and I do this intentionally, is there are a lot of games that I'll bring him in blind for. So there are games I'll do a lot of practice for, and there are some specific moments that I'll be especially looking forward to. It's just seeing his reaction to some of these things can be the best thing in the world. Well, for some stuff. So know your friends.
And that's kind of what I was getting at was like, have you guys found more success in going in completely blind or knowing what you're about to come up against before you actually play through? You said you guys do a lot of fighting games, so it's or not fighting, but anime games and stuff, so it's a little bit less important. But say I'm playing an RPG and have absolutely no clue where I'm going, like, do I play that blind and give the genuine reactions that people are looking for, or do I sit there and look up the fact and, hey, this is how you do it?
I think that actually comes down to a question of, do you want to make a Let's Play that will help people annihilate this game and be very good at it, or do you do it for the genuine, like, just for yourself and like a genuine reaction? For me and him, we sometimes do, like, of course, like, he plays a lot of stuff for me we record and I'm blind going into it. I don't know what the hell's going on. Then, like, when I'm doing it solo, I know a lot of games that I'm doing, like, where I practice them in advance. By the way, doing Let's Plays of handheld games are very easy because you can practice them on the go literally anywhere.
Utage was a party.
Dude, there's a PSP in my backpack that I'm practicing a few games on right now. It's actually pretty hilarious.
Which game are you working on?
The Ultimate Ninja Hero series right now, actually.
Nice.
Yeah. And one last thing. For RPGs, I would generally say don't go in completely blind, have some prior knowledge, because that's the difference between what would be a, let's say, 30 to 50 part Let's Play as opposed to 115.
Also, if you're Let's Playing an RPG, definitely take advantage of the fact that YouTube no longer has a time limit. Like, don't feel bad about making each part like 20, 30, somewhat higher minutes. Don't worry.
Also, again, depending on whether you're doing live or post, know when to cut, because a solid third to half of a game, especially RPGs, can be cut out completely in just random battles. If you want to show, like, every time a new enemy happens or whatnot, do that. I don't entirely recommend that because not a lot of people actually care, honestly, about that sort of thing.
But screen grinding.
But
thank you.
Know where to cut.
Yep. Any other questions?
You had one, Bash?
Yes. I've tried streaming once or twice on Twitch, but the problem is, and this is where I could use your guys' advice, I always feel the need that I have to be saying something as I'm playing the game, and thus I have a bad habit of coming across as what most people would call a glorified game show.
Oh, no. I fully feel you on that one. I used to have that same problem back in the day, I feel. I would be worried if I stopped saying stuff. Give yourself breathers. Like, don't worry about always talking. Say a couple sentences, keep focusing on the game, react to something that happens every once in a while. Just don't stress too much about, like, always talking every single second. Give yourself frequent breaks, especially if you're streaming. Streaming, you need the stamina.
Tangents, they're going to happen. Have fun with them. Don't have them go on for 10 minutes.
I'm so glad he hasn't gone on a tangent while we've been doing this, actually. Sometimes we'll just sidetrack so hard about something that happened to one of our friends, and just like, oh, back to the gameplay. Yeah.
Go tangent. Try to just keep playing.
Tangents are fun. Like, don't worry about just going off on the rails for every once in a while. Just make sure you don't go between 5 subjects in 5 minutes.
Don't fall asleep in the middle of recording. I have done that twice.
He also needs a better sleep schedule in general.
I don't sleep.
What the hell is sleep?
Between Thursday and Friday, and before I actually got to sleep last night, I think I only got 1 hour of sleep in about 29 hours.
You also did, like, you didn't eat lunch or dinner yesterday, too.
No.
He was hallucinating on the way back while he was driving home. I was a little scared. Yeah.
Go into it well rested, and if you're going to record at night, don't go too late into the night.
Yeah. We got 4 minutes left. Anyone have any other questions? Okay. Well.
Okay, questions into the audience. What is your main gimmick?
Our main gimmick?
What is your shtick?
Anything you want to plug?
Yeah, that.
Well, we have a channel that we're currently getting ready to do a .hack marathon. Just straight record for the next couple weeks just to get to the game, just to have .hack get cleared up, because he's never played 3 or 4
We're
engines.
getting ready for the re-release.
Yeah.
Right. Ooh, nice.
Yeah, I'm super excited because they've added an extra chapter, so this is now kind of like a new game to me. Not really, because I know what happens 1 through 3, but 4 I'm going blind and down now.
Cool.
Anything else? Nope, that's the bottom. Okay.
All right, hope you guys enjoy this panel. Go out there and make some noise.
Like, comment, subscribe, smash that like button. Thank you.
Nice to meet you too, dude.
Yeah,
We want to do collaborations sometime. I'm totally down for that.
Yeah, I'm always looking for it. If you want to experience something very interesting, I don't know
Can
if
you
you
open my
have.
laptop, please? It's the big one.
I'll hit the stop recording.
Oh, right.
Always make sure you stop recording, Brandon.